Wait. Wait, what? Hold on a second. The YouTube chat is looking weird. I haven't dropped any frames. Okay. Is it... It looks normal now. YouTube, y'all there? Did it freak out? Yeah, I noticed chat was reading weird. Oh, I just realized that chat has just been waiting for. That's super weird. Okay, yeah, I started the stream like minutes ago. Like I started like 10 minutes ago, and YouTube just started for some reason. Twitch has been talking to me the entire time. Isn't that weird? Okay, y'all can see me now though. Oh, sorry guys. Well, hold on. I've got a present for y'all. I've got a present for you, YouTube. Someone who's here to visit. Hey, come here. Up, 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 up. Look who it is. It's a Chloe bear. It's a Chloe bear. Chloe's here to say hi. She is a tired dog. I was wondering why YouTube was like being so not talkative. It's funny. I was like, oh, they're being really quiet today. Wait, no. Wait, which way do I need to go? There we go. I need to get a new camera. No, that didn't. Oh, this side is the problem. What? Why is it so? Okay, now we're good. Good enough. Good as it's gonna get. Okay, so let's say hello to everyone on YouTube. Sorry, my dudes. I thought y'all were able to see me the entire time. So quick going through hello cues here. So hello to Kiro, Misha, and Curse Fanatic. Thank you guys for being here. Mr. Mods, Mrs. Mods, Mr. Mods. Then Adam, Tyrant Keeper. Tyrant, I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you, my dude. Dom, Jordan Brando, Jasper Lane, Andrew Shosh, Broths, hello. Dean Smith Holly, William King, Hugh, good to see you, my dude. Great Scholar, and World777. Hello. Oh, YouTube, y'all didn't get to see this. So I got new books. Sorry, Twitch, you have to see all this over again. What did so I'll answer your questions in a sec, Twitch. So first of all, I've got the Storm of Magic Compendium. Very nice. Very nice. Not super difficult to get. Not super crazy expensive these days. But, you know, it's more expensive. It's still a little bit difficult to get depending on where you live. But then, I got it. Tarmakon, the Throne of Chaos. Finally here in the paper. Not in the flesh, but in the paper. And it's beautiful, and it's huge. It's a lot bigger than I thought it was, but I'm so happy to have it at long last. I'm assuming that book is rare. Yes, Tarmakon is a very rare book. Tarmakon, you cannot get copies of these days without knowing someone or spending an absurd amount of money. So what do editions mean? So Isthmius, basically the way editions work is that Games Workshop, being a tabletop game, operates in editions. So basically every 4 to 5 years, typically, they will release a new edition of one of their IPs, being like Age of Sigmar, or back in the day, Warhammer Fantasy, or Warhammer 40k. And a new edition is like, it'll come with new rules, it'll come with new models, and it'll come with It'll come with like new lore typically. And so the way we keep track of the constantly changing lore and all that stuff is by keeping record of like what edition something happened in. So if something happened in first edition, then that means that happened somewhere between like 1983 or 85 and 1987, I want to say. 8th edition covered like 2000, and I want to say 8th edition was like 2006-ish to like 2010-ish, 2011, somewhere in that ballpark. But that's what the editions refer to. That's the Elspeth von Draken book, right? Yes. Yes, that does have my least favorite character in the setting in it. Elspeth. I wanted to ask, is there any new information? Where did I buy my Monstrous Arcanum? Gravegiver, I got the Monstrous Arcanum back when it was published. So the Monstrous Arcanum was released by the same company as the guys who put out Tarmacon, which is Forge World. I bought the Monstrous Arcanum, like, when it was in print. So I don't know where you would get one nowadays. Because it's not in print anymore. So you'd have to get it from a collector or, like, from a bookstore that just happens to have a copy. But it would probably be very expensive. But yeah, there has not been any further updates on the Sons of Behemoth, unfortunately. Okay, normally I would like sack and raise every single settlement, but we're not going to do that this time. Because I have learned that speed is kind of the essence when it comes to playing on very hard. Because a lot of the time, I just kind of mosey around, like taking my sweet old time, burning everything down. And then by the time I get down here, the AI has gotten like hysterically powerful. And I get washed away on a tide of dwarf. So we're going to try and prevent that from happening by being a lot faster. Once we've like secured a good amount of territory and we've beaten the dwarves back, then we can relax a little bit and take our time. Is Tarmacon always been a maggot, or was he a person turned into a maggot? Tarmacon was a human who was warped by so many blessings and gifts of chaos that he became a maggot creature. $1 million question. Would eating an orc be vegan or vegetarian? Neither. It would still technically count as eating meat, by the way that they qualify that. Because they're like sentient creatures that have animal functioning bodies, even though they're born from fungi, I would think. Then again, that is kind of a weird toss-up, isn't it? Hey Sotek, was Skrulk rescued by a Vermin Lord after being impaled by Krokar in the end times? Technically, yes. But we never saw Skrulk again after that. So I'm not sure what happened to him. Presumably, he was essentially dead after that point, because we literally never saw Skrulk again. Even though they stopped him from being killed for some reason in that scene. I don't know why. Has the new Ungrim ability for Slayers made them a viable in-game stack? I would think so. It's a pretty scary ability. Did I hear we might get Black Orc war bosses and Grimgor's Black Orc friend along with Black Orc big bosses? That seems like a lot. Tyrannid Swarm. To me, that sounds like a lot of people putting a lot of really high expectations. And I would really advise against that. I am expecting a Black Orc big boss based on the leak that we saw, but I am not expecting all that other stuff. That would be great, but I would really not recommend, like, thinking that's going to happen for sure. What's my opinion on the God Beasts? I like the God Beasts. Oh, wait, God Beasts is in the book? William King, I actually haven't read God Beasts yet. I didn't start collecting my AOS books until kind of early 2nd edition. Level up, level up, level up, level up. Okay, let's do that and life leeching. What's the story of Azhag? So who was that? Sergeant Sandman. The long story short of Azhag was that he was a orc big boss of a tribe in the in Troll Country. So he was kind of over here-ish. And basically what happened is there was a big invasion of chaos and other like nasty enemies, and his tribe went underground into a bunch of like giant catacombs to escape being caught between the various marching armies. And while Azhag's tribe was down there, they found a ruined city. And while kicking around, Azhag found what he calls the Iron Hat, which is that crown he's wearing, this one right here. And it turns out that crown is not just a cool-looking boss hat. It is, in fact, the crown of Nagash. And Nagash is the greatest necromancer and debatably lord. He's one of the most powerful casters in Warhammer Fantasy, like one of the strongest wizards. So, Azhag, by putting on his helmet, basically, if you put on his helmet, it allows Nagash to basically start whispering in your mind. So he essentially starts trying to possess you. And so he tries his Azhag's splintered consciousness, because it's kind of like Voldemort stuff and the Harry Potter stuff of when Azhag put on the helmet, Nagash's spirit tried to possess him, but because he's an orc and not a human, and because Azhag is a very willful orc, he was kind of able to resist the Crown of Nagash's influence. So he basically started fighting against it and refused to let it control him. So Azhag was like constantly arguing with himself and having all sorts of weird problems. Like he would be talking to his army, and then all of a sudden he'd get distracted and start like yelling at himself, because he'd be like, "Ah, shut up, hat!" Like just kind of mental. And all the other greenskins were kind of like, "Is he all right?" But because he had Nagash's soul in his head, when Nagash would exert his influence over Azhag, it made Azhag into a tactical genius. Because Nagash was one of the scariest, wizards in Warhammer Fantasy. But he was also a very, very scary general. Like, he was an excellent tactician. I know you're there, Ungrim. I saw you, bro. Okay, looks like he's going to take out Karak Raziak, which is fine. I'm more interested in catching out Ungrim and beating up Ungrim. I'll deal with Ostermark here in a hot minute.
Welcome to my realm that will stop.
I'm surprised we're starting off so negative with him. It'll go up. Alright, I want to save my money, actually. Let's do that. Come here, Ungrim. Let me catch you. Anyway, so when Nagash would take over, it gave Azhag... we caught him. It gave Azhag the ability to cast spells from the Lore of Death. It made Azhag super duper scary, so Azhag became like this really big powerful war boss, and he started a WAAAGH where Azhag was basically terrorizing the Northern Empire, the dwarves, Kislev, and he curb stomped his way through the Empire for a good while, but Azhag was killed pretty early on. Like, I think his rampage lasted for about... I want to say Azhag was like almost a decade long, but he managed to rampage down through the Empire for a few years. But the problem with Azhag was that he was always arguing with Nagash in his head, because Nagash wanted him to go south. Nagash wanted him to take all the greenskins and go down to Nagashazar so he would reunite the crown of Nagash with the body of Nagash. So that's what the Hat wanted. But Azhag wasn't interested in that. Azhag wanted to run around and smash stuff. So they were constantly fighting each other. So Azhag would be heading south, and then he'd veer off and attack something. And then he'd start heading south again, and he'd veer off and attack something. And finally, it came to a head when he was battling... I forget which Imperial province he was fighting. It was either Ostermark or Talabecland. I forget who it was, but he was fighting against the... he was fighting against the Grand Master of the Knights Panther Knightly Order, I believe. And during that battle, the Grand Master rode in to fight Azhag one-on-one. And Azhag was curb stomping everybody, because he's, like, insanely powerful. On top of being crazy intelligent. However, at a very critical moment during their duel, Azhag's willpower started fighting with the crown, and he started arguing with himself, and while he was arguing with himself, the Grand Master of the Knights Panther managed to swing his blade and decapitate Azhag and killed him. And that was the end of WAAAGH. And the Empire took his iron hat and realized that it was the crown of Nagash, and they were like, oh snap, and they had to try and hide it away. And they tried, and unfortunately it didn't it didn't go as well as I think they hoped it would. Ugh, man, I hate fighting mass slayers. Start spirit leeching Ungrim. Run away! Just aim all the archers at Ungrim here. Pop the wall just for the damage buffs, if nothing else. Get all this garbage over here. Yeah, we're just gonna spam ranged fire on Ungrim. Try and get him out of here as quick as possible. Any ideas for a Beastman rework? I have a ton of ideas for a Beastman rework. I will talk about them in just a little bit. Okay, let's pull back our trolls a bit. It's like, yeah, we're taking... A lot of our guys are not winning these exchanges. It's okay, though. Let's go ahead and start pulling back our archers. Make sure they're at a nice, safe distance for when a lot of our infantry starts breaking. Just gonna keep focusing on Ungrim. Get him out of the way. No, 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 no. Good news is we did kill a decent amount of the Slayers. We've got a lot of them below that 50% threshold. I hate fighting Slayers with Azhag. It's spooky. Let's hit those giant Slayers with the Spirit Leech. They've got pretty low health at this point. Okay. Drop a smoke bomb. I did hear that we got a tip a minute ago. I will get around to it in just a moment. Appreciate your patience. Okay, we just want to be really strategic with how we're engaging here. Oh, also, I don't think those of you on YouTube heard me talk about it earlier, but I almost chopped my finger off today, so that was fun. I was a genius level. I had a genius level intellect moment, and when I was cleaning a mirror, I got a little overeager, like cleaning across it, and there was like a metal clip that holds the mirror into the wall, and I just like ripped over it so fast that it just tore my pinky open. It was like, that really hurts. Kill him! Kill him! Okay, it looks like we've got this under control. We've lured away, like, the really big, scary packs of them, so that's good. That group's dead. Have the Skulkers mess around with Ungrim for a hot second. Okay, we got a WAAAGH going, so let's have all these guys, like, actually turn and fight. Keep Spirit Leeching Ungrim. Everybody shoot the Ungrim! I'm just gonna keep dunking him with, let's have you start heading... Wait, those are warriors? Are those both warriors? No, there's one group of slayers left. Okay. Well, this is good, because this will have us kind of... Are these both slayers? 4 slayers, 4... Yeah, those are both groups of 4. I'm not worried about that. I'm with him, more lore videos. Yeah, I think that's what everybody's saying. Make more of that thing that takes the most time. I'm almost done writing up the next wave of Heroes of Legend proposal, because I'm doing them in like groups of 5. Which I hope y'all have liked that series at least, the Heroes of Legend. I've been pretty pleased with myself with how that has turned out. Ugh, words. So if we could catch that runesmith, I would be super happy. You're a dead man walking, Ungrim. You're a dead man walking. Just fight him. Alright, Ungrim is dead. Now all I gotta do is kill those slayers. We took probably a lot more casualties than I should have. I didn't play this as well as I would have liked, but it could have been way worse. I love how he's talking about Skull Muncher without it actually being there. Yeah. Where'd they go? And Spirit. Only 3 left? Alright. Yay! Still waiting for the head taker video? Pretty sure people have been waiting for the head taker video. What's it been now? A year? Something, give or take. A little over a year, I think, since I was supposed to have that out. Good lord. Nightmare fuel. Literal nightmare fuel. One of these days I'm going to finish it. And I can move on to happier days. Alright, let's see what we got here. Snader. Hey man, love your current videos on the Ogre Kingdoms. Do I think that Belegar is hopeless? Do I think Belegar would be hopeless if he was pitted against the likes of Gorok? Few people have told me, and I'm very biased on Belegar, and I wonder if it might be. Would love your take on it. Belegar versus Gorok? That would be tough. That would be super tough. Gorok is very, very tanky. But Belegar is also freakishly tanky. I would say that Belegar is harder to kill than Gorok is, generally. So I think if Belegar were to time Vengeance Incarnate properly, or Revenge Incarnate, he would probably come out on top in that fight. Because the one issue that Gorok has is while Gorok has like an unbreakable shield and he can hit really really hard with a weapon that like seeks out your weaknesses, Belegar's shield is just as good, if not better, than the shield of Eons, and his hammer is gonna make him so fast that it's gonna exploit Gorok's like major weakness, which is that Gorok is very slow. Gorok is a tenacious creature, but he's pretty slow. Like, he relies much more on like his shield absorbing a lot of the situation, like the initial charge and stuff, and then he just clobbers you to death. But he can't do that to Belegar. The Shield of Defiance is just too strong. I really, I'll put it this way: Belegar would kill Gorok from the death of 1,000 blows. I don't think Gorok would ever land a meaningful hit on Belegar. Between his Gromrel armor and the Shield of Defiance, he could hold out against Gorok for years without getting tired. Because, I mean, Belegar is just one of the greatest duelists in the Dwarven Kingdoms. So, yeah, I don't think that would go well for Gorok at all. Mustafa, thanks for the super chat, my dude. Hey, brother, would you be interested in making a video about Tyrion like Cetra? Oh, yes, I'd love to. But I'm not, I have a thing where I'm like, I'm not touching anybody until I finish Queek. And I've been having a really hard time with Queek. Kiro Haas, thanks for the tip. Hey, boss, do you think the base Legendary Lords from Total War Warhammer 2 need reworks to make them... I wouldn't say that the base Lords need reworks, per se. Maybe they could use, like... Maybe, like, their items could use a little sprucing up. I think their, like, base functions are fine. But I would definitely not have an issue against them updating their equipment, is what I'll say on that. Also, thanks so much to Jacques Tredis, but Jacques for becoming a member. Thank you so much for the support. And also Deacon Smith and Bear celebrating their 4-month and 16th month anniversary respectively. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Alright, so we got the Slayer King Slayer. Very nice. Well, if you want to know how Belegar died to Queek, you can just watch the Belegar lore video. Belegar is out. And I am super proud of that lore video. That came out really good. Okay, let's do Inspiring Presence and Du Bois. And let's finish off this army before that Get Ungrim comes back. Ooh, Gambler's Armor. Very nice. Okay, and then let's go this way. And recruit more troops. So that I can beat some people up. Gold! Hero not moved. Oh, yeah, you. Don't want to bother with Kazu Irkulas? Not yet. Who's bigger, Krakenrock the Black or a Sky Titan? I would say a Sky Titan is bigger than Krakenrock. All Slayers, but they're led by Grim Cromson. I think I can win this. Like, the balance of power is really bad, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units of Slayers. And I got a lot of arrows. And a lot of Spirit Leeches. Oh. Well, Dusty, I don't know. Forgot to rename it Red Eye Mountain. I shouldn't have to rename it. CA should fix it. That's a bug. How dare they call it Red Eye Mountain? How dare they? Karak Ungor. Can't believe CA has such blatant dwarf favoritism on their naming schemes. They need to fix that, damn it. Open fire on the Slayers! Send in the spiders! Nice. And these guys don't have Ungrim's buff. Yeah, good. Yeah, they don't have Ungrim's buff, so we should be able to... We'll be able to kill a lot of them before they make it to us. Beautiful. Good job, spiders. Tear them up. I said dwarf favoritism in naming. Okay, let's start getting those spirit leeches going. Kill these dwarves as quick as possible. Air boys! Start firing. Skulkers, let's get out here and drop some smoke. I just obliterated my own unit, but that's fine. Okay, let's get some charges off. $56, $51, $38. Gonna have our archers pull back and spread out a bit. So that when, not if, they push through, we'll... Oh yeah, I forgot about my trolls! Ah, my trolls! My babies! And I could really use a wall right about now. Oh, shit, I'm not paying attention. So if we could have Azhag hold them up. And they're just totally ignoring me. How rude. What are you doing, Azhag? Oh, there's like one over here. It's looking a little dicey. God, I hate fighting Ungrim early game. It's so obnoxious just fighting like nothing but Slayer spam. Wish I had more Wolf Riders. It's like, even when I'm getting these units really, really low, they're annoyingly durable. I do not have, like, a good way to deal with them either. I mean, the nice thing is, once you've kind of wiped out a particular group of them, they're dealt with, but we'll just kill as many as we can. You're so fast. Let's go ahead and add Azhag fight there. Should be able to cleave through this unit. They're basically just pretty much gone. Do what damage we can here. Like I said, our goal at this point is just to take out as many units as we can, or as many unit models. Shoot. What are your skeletons gonna do that? Well, if you need to kill skeletons, or if you need to kill slayers with vampire counts, all you do is just keep, like, raised deading underneath them. Okay. That unit's under control. Just have Azhag, like, tank as much as he can. My spiders over here. Have my spiders run as much interference as possible. Run away! Come to me, spiders! Hey, Mr. D! Thanks for being a member, my dude. Over on YouTube. Really appreciate it. Thank you for the support. Hope you enjoyed the emotes. Run! Run! Move! Move your bodies. Put those Orc Zune classes to work. Go, spiders! Use your poison. Problem is I'm running out of magic. If there weren't, like, if this unit of Slayers over here was not here, I think I might actually be able to turn this around. But unfortunately, that is not the case. Yeah, you just keep running. You don't stop running. Can't stop. Don't stop running. You can't stop running. Da, 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 da. Spiders run away. Azhag keep fighting. Fire. Cycle charge. How much does it cost me to cast Spirit Leech? 6? Okay, so we've got another one coming up here in a hot second. Spiders, pull back. Okay, let's try and focus the weakened unit. Or not. Or not! Sorry. Come on, shoot! There's still 10 guys in that unit. There's only 1 in that unit. Okay, that unit's dead. And I would kill for a wall right now. One Slayer left here. Spider Riders, fall back. Pull back in. Alright. So we lost, wow, we got 118 kills on Azhag. That's nuts. So we lost that fight. However, Azhag survived, and we killed a ton of Slayers. There's only 1, 2, 3 Slayer units left. So if he follows us, I think we'd be able to take out whatever's left. I don't know how many troops I have left, but... How did Emmerich die? We never see Emmerich die in the end times. In the end times, Emmerich participates in the battle for Altdorf. Sorry, for Ulthuan. And then he fights in Athel Loren in Book 5. But basically what happens is Khorne sends like a massive invasion of Athel Loren. And there's a bunch of characters fighting against it. And we never find out what happened to any of them. So we don't know what happened to the Sisters of Twilight. Because they were like the Sisters of Twilight, Emmerich... who else was there? It was the Sisters of Twilight, Emmerich, and you know what? No, let's just go double points into boys. I think those were the big ones, and we just don't. They just don't address it. Because Games Workshop was like, oh, people like these models? Well, too bad, or something. I don't know what their reasoning was. Ah, dang it. I don't really want to do that for 2 turns. Okay, I know I gotta check some noises. I wonder if I could I'm gonna try ambushing again.
Azhag is here.
Well, would he attack this? Yeah, he totally would. So let's go for another ambush, see if that works.
This is good.
Your mysterious benefactor. Thanks so much for the tip, my dude. The lady is near me, and if you read my username, she'd be mad I'm donating. Oops. I should have read the message before I said that out loud. Sorry if I threw you under a bus. Snatter, I had no idea the Shield of Defiance actually compared in power level wise to the Shield of Eons. Thanks for that tidbit of information. An argument against Belegar face as well as Gorok fought greater demons in one. Belegar can't say the same. Dude, Belegar would have like... But the Shield of Defiance is one of the most OP items in Warhammer Fantasy. Like, it is... Go... If you have not watched my Belegar video, go watch my Belegar video where I talk about that thing. The Shield of Defiance takes hits from giants like they're nothing. And a giant... Why am I not getting the garrison? I don't think I could fight this without the garrison. I need the garrison. Join me, garrison. Oh, or down. He's running away. What happened to Nakai and Gorok during or before the end times? They never showed up. Nakai and Gorok never made an appearance, unfortunately. They were one of many... They were one of a long list of characters who were unjustly abandoned. Because Games Workshop could not be bothered to, like, give a story on at least all the characters they introduced in the prior edition. That would have been too much effort, apparently. Any ideas for a Beastman rework? I'll give you $100 if you go shirtless. Yeah, no thanks. Damn it, Grim Cromson, you little turd. Man, if my Spider Riders were at full health, I could absolutely do this. Come fight me by the garrison, coward. Okay, I'm gonna try ambushing one more time. I don't understand why my garrison didn't join me that one fight. Because if I had the garrison, I could totally do it. And I need to hurry up because he's totally building another army with Ungrim at the head of it. No, Angry Gods. Okay, like right there. Ambush. Let's upgrade Nashrak's lair. And let's bring our shaman over here so I can actually see what's going on.
Greetings. That was stop.
The vampire's being a jerk. This is already taking too long. What happened to the Black Orc Big Boss hero we saw before the launch of the update? I know as much about the Black Orc Big Boss as you do. There you go. Why can't Emmerich get a Carmine Dragon? Because Carmine Dragons are, like, hilariously overpowered. And they're also not a high elf thing. They're more of, like, an old world thing. Freaking dragon wizards. Yeah, I know you're waiting for me, you little jerk.
I embarked it. Red rain flows.
What's the 411 on 10 and 1 in Age of Sigmar? Nobody knows where 10 and 1 is. I don't think 10 and 1 exists in Age of Sigmar. That being said, they did start... It was weird. In Age of Sigmar, they leaned really heavily on the idea that, like, in first edition, they were like, oh no, so everything you know and love about the Lizardmen is gone. Like, they're a totally new faction now. Like, their memories and all this other crazy bullshit. And then they completely pulled a 180 and started saying, no, just kidding. They are the Lizardmen that you remember. Oh, dang it. I was like, I'm about to walk into a trap. That's okay, though. Shut up, Professor Pone. Get out of here, Professor Pone. We don't know how Emmerich dies. I already answered your question. Get out of my chat. Okay, orcs, run. Run away. Spiders, open fire. Azhag, prepare for battle. Run, boys! If we could get, like, some kind of uphill advantage, that would be really nice. We'll let the spiders do as much damage as they can. Pew, 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 pew. Because Azhag will totally kick the shit out of this Rune Lord. I just gotta deal with the Slayer spam. Yeah, just keep them poisoned. Keep them poisoned so that their movement is a lot slower than ours. Get to the chopper! What would be the Lord pack that has the Doom Lord in it? The Doom Lord. You mean Dieter Hellschnitt? I don't think we're ever gonna see Dieter Hellschnitt. I think we missed our chance when we didn't get, when we got frickin' Gorst instead. You got this, Azhag! What are you doing? It's like point blank! Fucking shoot him! Oh, good God. Okay, I need to hurry up and get rid of this unit. Stay on them. Run away. Fucking morons. Ooh. No, that's not what I want. Here, come over here. Clear me some space. Run over these assholes. Get them off me. Die, Slayers. No, keep running. Good, spiders. Pull back. $28 left. Keep firing. Azhag, you just go on a merry adventure here. Okay, we're just gonna ignore the Runesmith. Rune Lord, whatever his name is. Nope. Yeah, I need to, like, angle this way. Bring him over here. 12 of them left. Okay, hopefully that'll finish him off. Whee! Spiders! Okay, Azhag can finish them off. Spiders, pull back. Okay, no more slayers. Archers, open fire! Good, good. All according to plan. Let's go for a Soul Blight on these guys to just get rid of their armor. Hunt them back towards the archers. Oh, nope, I don't think so. Oh, yes! Okay, let's get the spiders out of there. Get Azhag. If we can get Azhag to fight them, they'll, like, surround him, and then we can bring our spiders in for a rear charge. I like that Azhag actually has a body, like a body slam animation. Alright, open fire. Okay, I'm gonna make myself cause terror, which should terrify them. Ah, they're terrified, nerds. Spiders, chase them down. Archers, focus the Rune Lord. Oh, they rallied. Took too long, dipshits. That's whatever. Y'all should be able to handle that. Spiders cause fear? No, they don't. Okay, they broke him. Nice. Thoughts on Ska Bloodtail as a legendary hero? I think Ska Bloodtail is too focused to be a legendary hero. Like, Ska Bloodtail should be a unique but not legendary hero you get at the start of a Queek Headtaker campaign. Like, they should just add chieftains to the game, and when you start playing as Queek Headtaker, you get, like, Ska Bloodtail as a chieftain who, like, starts with a unique trait. Like, oh, okay, he has Guardian, and maybe he has, like, a slightly different stat line. But other than that, he should basically be the same. That's also how I feel about most of those characters. Like, Bogret Facebeater should just be a Black Orc Big Boss hero that you get at the start of Grimgore's campaign. Duff Skull should just be a Night Goblin Shaman you get at the start of a Skarsnik campaign. So on and so forth. Alright, now all we need is for the Arrow Boys and the Spider Riders to attack the Rune Lord. And then I can have Azhag, like, jump in on him and start wailing on him. Yeah, like Rapunzel's hero, exactly. What does the VEH stand for? It stands for very hard. So we're playing a very hard campaign. ME stands for Immortal Empires. Get him, boys. Azhag's like, let me in. If there's one thing I wish they would change, I wish they would add more fighting animations for different kinds of lords. Like, you know, like, there's a fair amount of characters in the game now who dual wield weapons. And it really doesn't feel like there's a lot of animations for them. Okay, let's get you out of here before you take any more damage. Let the archers kind of handle this for a hot second. Took me took me forever to realize that using a lot of mods makes the AI take forever with their decisions in game. Yeah, it can certainly affect the AI's like ability to make decisions. You got this, lads. I know he's got a lot of armor, but armor's kind of a stupid stat in this game anyway, because they didn't really design it well. Okay, let's surround him. Actually surround him. That is one thing I also wish the AI was better about. Like, if you have a unit attacking a monster or a single character, it's like, you figure the AI, like, the unit should know to naturally surround the entity, instead of just doing this stupid crap where they, like, you know, they all bunch up on one side. I always hate when they do that. Alright, let's send in Azhag to finish this up. Ooh! Break him! Yeah! Victory! Alright, let's run him down. Yeah, poke him in the butt! We got a wall! Keep poking him! Keep poking him! Yay! I wish Lords had animation on their mount. Yeah, that's another thing. It would be really nice if Lords... Like, I get that the monsters are doing most of the fighting, but it'd be so nice just to see Lord go, or like, at least at the same time the monster is attacking. So maybe it doesn't change, like, the hitbox, but it just makes the character look like they're contributing. Okay, awesome. We actually killed that army. That makes me feel a lot better. I kind of want to make my stand at Nashrax, and I know he's coming for me. We're going to need a lot of archers for how many slayers are going to be coming down the pipe. Do I think Cetra could fight Archaon and give him a run for his money? Absolutely. If Cetra was at full power and had all his items, yeah. Like, that, it would be a fight. Okay, Ungrim just vanished. That's concerning. Tamir Habari, thanks so much for the super chat tip, my dude. What would happen if someone fell into the Great Maw? You would die horribly. You would fall for a really long time, and then at some point it would get the ability to either contract and kill you instantly, or you would just keep falling into a bottomless abyss until you clubbed your head on some kind of giant tooth or something along those lines. Okay, I do not have much longer before he's like right on top of me. Oh, dang, I'm not gonna have time to... I don't think I'm gonna have time to deal with, I don't think I can stay here. I'm not gonna have time to get this garrison up. Well, I will have a level 3 settlement though, so I will have a better thing than I would have had. So let's just go for like all archers. Man, I hate hinder replenishment. I really wish they would go back and redo how heroes work. It sucks that some heroes are like completely amazing, like block army and assault units, great stuff. But the other ones, like assault a unit or hinder replenishment, are just useless. Okay, so what are we dealing with here? Oh, okay, we've got a half decent garrison. Azhag leveled up again, so I could get... I really don't want Dagabos because I'm not going to have a lot of Gabos. Okay, let's go for like Blade Master and Scarred Veteran, I guess. Oh, what I would not give for some Regiments of Renown right now. What is known about the Spider God? Not a lot. The Feaster from Beyond, as some people know it. Wow, his army is terrible. It's just like all bolt throwers. Alright, if he gives me another turn, he's not going to have a chance to take this. But I highly doubt he's going to be that generous. Goblins and night goblins. Well, kind of want toothy weapons. Yeah, if I get toothy weapons, I can get bigger and better bosses. And I don't think I'm going to bother upgrading Nashrak's lair any further, because it's either going to live or it's going to die. Almost wondering if I should have ambush danced. On the off chance that he bumped into it, and then I could have just auto-killed those bolt throwers. Man, that's a lot of slayers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 units of slayers. And they all have Journey's End. Good grief. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 10 units of archers. So the only way this is going to work is I'm going to have to, like, throw a character into them and just have my archers, like, super focus that unit. Professor Pone. Silence. Hey, Ryan Whitlock, how you doing, man? I'm doing okay. I am doing okay. I had a really long day. Okay, I guess we're gonna dedicate the Spider Riders to taking out the bolt throwers. I think the best thing we can do is hide back here so the bolt throwers can't be used on us. This is gonna be tricky. At least we have a lot of good starting winds of magic. We could try going to like a corner. That way the slayers kind of have to like have a harder time getting through all of our stuff. That might be worth doing. Let's head out this way. Oh, run away. Ah! Ooh. 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 Yeah, you just lead them away. I mean, hell, if we can get a couple of these Slayer units out of the mix. Gotta try to do a free-for-all sometime? Yeah, we can do that. Are the Tomb King gods related to the old ones? Not... there is no hard evidence that they are. That's a pretty big fan theory of mine, personally. I think that the Tomb King gods and the old ones are the same. Like, they're identical. But I think that the Nehekaran gods are the Tomb King's interpretation of the old ones. Like, what they believe the old ones to be. But I don't have any, like, hard evidence of that. That's kind of a fan theory. Just because there's a lot of overlap between them. And the Nehekarans were, like, explicitly created by the old ones. And they saw the old ones, in a sense. Like, the Nehekarans witnessed the battle against Chaos. They didn't participate in it, but they were, like, witnesses for it. They kind of saw it happening. Trying to have my spiders cause some havoc. To safety! Would I like to play a Total War Warhammer different timeline? I could see that as like a potential DLC idea. Oh gosh, they're firing. See if we can use our spiders to maybe take some of these out. This is potentially going to be like an absolutely terrible idea. Actually, yeah, I don't think fighting them in the corner is going to work out. Because I need to be able to, like, fall back. So let's just, like, slowly head towards them. Slowly, I said. Except you. You charge. Gosh. So many bolt throwers. Biggins, spread out. It's annoying because Biggins really should be able to beat regular Slayers in a fight, at least in my opinion. Yeah, they're out of here. Oh gosh, this is about to get really complicated. Alright, layer up, lads. Big boss, I want you to hold them up. Okay, everybody focus fire. Probably be worth doing this to try and slow down their DPS. Fire! Damn it! Fire! Rear charge! Okay, that big boss is doing his job well. Oh, damn. I was really hoping that unit would hold out a little better. Next wave! Yeah, okay, that big boss did a killer job holding that line. I'm proud of that. Proud of that sweet boy. Keep firing! Keep firing! God, there's so many of them. $55, $9, $30. Okay, let's bring the orcs over like that direction. God, I hate Slayer spam. It's so obnoxious. Come with me. We're kind of losing some units for free here. What are you doing? Run! Sit there, twiddle your thumbs. Ah, no, that's army losses. Ah, that's bullshit. We could have easily taken out a bunch of them with us. Oh, man, Azhag's early game is a bitch. Like, maybe you're just not supposed to go after Ungrim. Maybe that's what I'm doing wrong. Maybe you're supposed to, like, go into the Empire and destroy a bunch of the Empire stuff, then come back and fight the Slayers. Because it's just, the Slayers being unbreakable on top of the very hard bonuses just makes them a nightmare. I need Cav. If I could have like a bunch of Wolf Riders, I'd be able to do so much better. Alright, so we'll have Azhag set up a new army up north. See, I don't think that's going to be able to set up in time to hold him back. Oh, I could WAAAGH, but it's a little late for that. Okay, let's go down the Gabo tree, I guess. We could do... Ah, lads would be really good to have. Okay, first thing I want to do is I want to take back this province. So we can get Ornery Backslider here. And just... start getting an army together. In terms of magical prowess, where would I put the current playable legendary lords in a duel versus one another? Gravegiver, I appreciate the question. However, that is a ridiculously heavy question. Like, with a lot of variables and a lot of characters, and would take a long time to like consider every possible outcome. So I'm gonna take a pass on that for right now. That is certainly a topic that we will probably address in the future, though. Man, buildings are so expensive. I mean, Carrick Ungor is safe is like fine because we've got like a big garrison here. Is Leleia the deceitful bitch? Kind of. Kurohas, I like the goblins in this game. Hey, Pollux, how's it going?
Not likely.
This army will be pretty easy to beat, but I'm going to wait till we get Azhag back before I go out and fight him.
No way.
I guess we could try. It's going to take 4 turns. I think I'd rather just save my money.
Smash it on.
Man, I was like, oh, let's have like a nice strong start, and this ended up being like way worse than my last campaign. My last campaign, I just got completely bodied because the dwarves got so strong and they completely like exterminated the greenskins before I even had a chance to meet with everybody. Was Grom really known as the Goblin King? I believe that's one of his epithets that he goes by as the Goblin King.
Feel the power. Never.
Oh great, he's getting Thunderers now.
Smash.
They also need to change the spread public order thing for blue tier tree characters. Like, it's such an insignificant amount of public order difference. Oh, okay, so Ungrim's going south, so I guess we can reinforce Khazad Irkula's. Azhag! And a rebellion! Alright, so Azhag's back. And we can go ahead and grab that. I guess I could just march out and punch this guy in the face. I mean, it'd be a lot easier for me to wait until he attacks me. But I don't see this army of his being threatening at all. I mean, he's got a lot of crossbows, I guess, but I have more infantry than he does. And I have Azhag. So yeah, I'm just going to march out and punch him in the face. What's the biggest advantage of playing dwarves? The big thing about dwarves is that you traditionally will have a lot of armor, super high leadership, pretty good melee stats, And some of the most, like, devastating shooting in the game if you let it, like, really get going. The AI, what makes the AI really scary as the dwarves is they take that ridiculous leadership buff to the extent that it makes them basically unbreakable on high enough difficulties. Which I'm playing on the second highest difficulty in the game. So it just kind of lends itself to a problem of there's just a lot of dwarves, and their leadership is like super duper duper solid. So they just fight to the death, which, considering how good their melee stats are, means that you have to fight them a lot for a very long time, which can be painful at the best of times. Yeah, this Empire army is going to get absolutely smashed because I'm just going to be wider than him. Let's go, you gits! Oh no, they're shooting a mortar at Azhag. Whatever will I do? What's the best anti-dwarf unit? The best anti-dwarf unit is probably either Stone Trolls or Rogue Idols. Rogue Idols are pretty nuts against dwarves. Because its main weakness is that it's just like super duper slow. And they, dwarves do not have speed as one of their, mechanics. So the Rogue Idol can actually, like, catch up with them and be a threat. Like, once you have the Idol of Gork, there's not really a lot the AI can do to stop you. Alright, let's send the Spider Riders around the flank. Pull Azhag back a little bit so he's not eating bullets. Forward! I was trying to wait until everybody got to the front line, but these orcs are taking their good old sweet time. Archer line, forwards. Where's their moron leader? There he is.
Where's the scrap? Let's get him. What? What?
See, like, all of his range stuff is already compromised. And his line is not going to hold up that long. Especially with the wall mechanic. And his general's going to be dead in a few seconds. Whoa! Can I talk about Gortys and how he held off a bunch of undead? Pound, what are you doing? So, I guess I can briefly make mention of it. For those... Okay, so first of all, I want to preface this by saying I don't want to get into the specifics because I don't want anyone to, like, spoil anything for me. But I am playing through a D&D module for the first time, which I have very, very little experience with D&D, for the record. So this is, like, one of my first times ever playing D&D. And, I am playing a lizard folk character named Gortys, and we've been doing like this arena system lately, where like you go into an arena and you fight a bunch of baddies and stuff. And because I designed my guy as a paladin, and my teammates tend to value tactics that can get them in very bad positions. So what usually will end up happening is my poor paladin, Gortys, will end up having to tank some kind of like massive horde or big monster or something, and just stand there and get like, and he's just like hiding under his shield as people are just slamming on his shield the entire time. So like we had one fight where we were fighting so many zombies that I couldn't move. Like there were literally so many zombies in a grid-based system fight, I physically could not move because there was nowhere for me to go. Every square, every adjacent square, every corner square was filled with zombies, and they were just attacking me over and over and over and over. It was like 10 turns of being attacked by, I mean, what's that, like 8 zombies? Just constantly beating on my shield. And like, I wasn't attacking back. All I was doing was taking a defensive stance. So my armor class was like a 21 or something, and I was just like, just hiding under my, or no, I had an armor class of 19 and they had disadvantage. That's what it was. And granted, they could not hit me, but it was just like, good grief. What do I think the chances are we'll see a playable Zacharias ever living before Game 3 is released? I do not personally think there's a super high chance we're gonna see any vampire count or dwarf content before Game 3. As much as I feel that would be like a must-have, I just unfortunately don't see that happening. It seems like Creative Assembly, I'm gonna say this and kind of like assume everyone could be a little adult about it, but I feel very strongly that the community was bitching and moaning so much about the vampire counts in Game 1 that Creative Assembly was kind of like, okay, people don't want vampire stuff, even though like the vampire counts barely got anything. It's just that they got a lot of stuff like all at the same time, because you know it was like, oh, okay, we got the Empire versus Vampire Count DLC, which came with Vlad as the free LC, and then they got Isabella that same year for Make Love Not War, which I don't think happened this year now that I think about it. And so everyone was just like, vampires, even though they didn't actually get any content. Like they just got some like free LC garbage. Like a ton of free LC garbage just all at once. But they have like they have not very many factions despite the amount of characters they have. And Gorst was the biggest wasted character slot of all time. Like I want at least 3 more lords. Ooh, Obsidian Blade for the vampire counts in the game. Like I need it. Come here, you booger. Okay, well, at least we took that back. We're getting on our way towards Skullmuncha, so that's nice. Sad I lost my catapult. That upsets me greatly. I'm just gonna need like a shitload of orc archers, because orc archers will be the secret to defeating or punching Ungrim's stupid face in. We got a rebellion coming. Okay, that's not a big deal. So Gorst removed in Game 3? Gorst is the only piece of content I would approve of removing. Like, if they came out and they're like, listen, we're just gonna keep the Grim and the Grave the same, like, we're gonna make the Grim and the Grave $1 cheaper, however, it's just not gonna have Gorst in it, but it'll have everything else, I'd be like, yes, do it. Oh, man. I noticed Safri doesn't have an Archmage as a faction leader. So, so there's actually a reason for that. The reason you very, very rarely will see factions led by, like, the new characters, is because for a character to lead a faction, it means they have to have a voice actor come in and record all their lines. So, you have to bring in, whoever you're going to have voice that character, or all the different people you're going to have voice that character, and run through it, like run through every possible line of dialogue they could have with every faction in the game, including anything they would say that would be like race specific. And because of how the fact that their character is different, everyone's gonna pretty heavily expect them to have unique voice lines. Like, you can't just give them generic voice lines. You know, it's not like you can't just have the Dark Elf Beastmaster say the exact same thing as the Dreadlord, right? He's got to say different stuff. You would expect him to be totally unique. So it's just a shitload of work for very little gain, is the logic behind it. Personally, I would rather they do that and just make the DLCs more expensive, and like squeeze in a lot more audio lines, but that's just me. Who would I want as my 3 lords? The 3 vampire count lords I want are, Neferata, Zacharias the Ever-Living, and WAAAGH Bloody Tooth. Those are the 3 I want. And then I want the Red Duke made playable as the Blood Dragon character. Like, that would be the most bang for your buck. I know a lot of people want WAAAGH Harkin or Abarash. I do not see a universe where we get both of them. I feel like we will get one of them, but both of them seem super unlikely. So I'm curious which one they'll end up going with. Except Lizardman? Yeah. Yeah, the factions, I will note, the factions that do not speak English, like the factions that just have, like, nonsense, they do tend to have a much easier time getting away with having, like, a lot of different lord types. Because, you're right, they don't have English voice lines. Or they don't have an actual language voice line, so they are probably just speaking gibberish. Not full gibberish, but vague gibberish. Why hasn't King Khazanor Dragonslayer taken the Slayer Oath? Because taking the Slayer Oath as a king is really irresponsible. The thing about when you're a king is you have to take the Oath of Kingship, which has, like, its own whole thing. So if you're someone that decides to, like, if you declare a Slayer Oath as king, it's gonna be directly opposed to your oath as a Slayer. Because the Slayer Oath says stuff like, you have to constantly be seeking out glorious death in battle. You need to always be on the front lines. You're not allowed to wear armor. You're supposed to find, like, the most powerful, nastiest opponent and seek death by, seek an honorable death to redeem yourself, yada, yada, yada. Whereas the Oath of Kingship is stuff like, you need to stay alive no matter what. You need to make sure to protect yourself. You are responsible for your subjects, so it's important that you survive as long as possible, produce an heir, maintain your kingdom. Do not throw away your life needlessly, as it can threaten your kingdom and its safety. So there's a lot of conflicting things there, which is what makes Ungrim so miserable a lot of the time, is trying to navigate the Oath of Kingship and Slayership. And that's also why you have to remember, Ungrim did not take the Slayer Oath originally. Ungrim's Slayer Oath was passed down to him by his ancestors. So it was like, it was like the Ungrim line has, none of them have fulfilled the Slayer Oath. It's been passed down from king to king to king to king of Kadak Kadrin. It was finally fulfilled. The Slayer Oath that was passed down was finally fulfilled by Ungrim's son, who died against Archaon's legions fighting a Chaos Giant. But when his son died, Ungrim was so angry about it because he didn't want his son to fulfill the oath. He wanted to... His son's name was Garagrim. He wanted to fulfill the oath. He didn't want his son to do it. And so he retook up the Slayer Oath at the end of the Storm of Chaos. Y'all better be beating those crossbows. Does anyone know what? So the reason it's not recorded in any of the books of grudges why Ungrim's ancestor took the Slayer Oath, but there was a major incident around the time that he took it, where this really, really scary dragon called Skaladrak Incarnadin. Skaladrak Incarnadin is like a god tier threat type dragon that harasses the dwarves, has been harassing the Dwarven kingdoms for thousands of years. And she attacked like a group of dwarves that were guiding the princess of Karak Kadrin. So the king's daughter, she was traveling with like a little army down to Karasakarak to be married to who was the dwarf that was going to become the High King. So essentially, like, there was this big alliance and all this stuff where the bloodline of Karasakarak was finally, or the Drakebeard clan was going to marry into the High King's line, but she was murdered by the dragon, along with all of her attendants. So that happened like right around that time. So you can imagine that his grief was immense, because he wasn't able to be there for her. Like, he wasn't able to protect his own daughter, and she was killed by a monster. And it also had like a dramatic impact on his kingdom. And because of that, his ancestor took the oath. So do all the first vampires in Warhammer Fantasy have Nehekaran names? Originally, they all had Nehekaran names. So yeah, the original vampires that we know of, because there are two we don't really know that well. But the original ones that are really famous are Abarash, Neferata, Wazoran, Ushoran, and then Vlad. But Vlad's name when he lived in Nehekara was Vashanesh. But he changed his name to Vlad at some point during his travels. Because Vlad wandered around the world for like thousands of years before he finally decided to make his bid on claiming the Empire. Which of the following would I most want to be seen as a fully playable race? Albion, Amazons, or Halflings? If I had to pick between those three, I guess I would go with Albion. Those are not in my top picks, though. I would much prefer to see the Southern Realms or the Fish People. Like, if we got the actual Fish People race, I would be so happy. That would be amazing. There's so many, like, little tidbits and hints about them, but they were never made playable, and I always hated that. Because they have, like, a colossal kingdom. It's just that a lot of people don't mess with it because it's really hard to get to, and nobody wants to get devoured by horrific fish monsters. I'm gonna let my goblins here eat most of the missile fire. With me, lads! Chugga, 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 chugga. No, you're not. I'm not even there yet. Okay, I'm just gonna focus on killing the general before I get too close. Okay, it looks like he's not gonna fight. So if he's not gonna fight, then I should be safe to engage here. Get busy fighting. Araby I would include in the Southern Realms. If we ever got Southern Realms as a DLC, I would want to see the Southern Realms be a combination of Tilia, Estalia, the Border Princes, and Araby. Like, it's kind of like all of them mishmashed together. I think that would be super cool. How we doing, orcs? Hanging in there? See if you get a little leadership buff over there. Yeah, good job, Gobos. Chase off those boys. Good job. Good job. Vampirate Skaven? Goodness, no. Even though that was a thing, No thank you. I've had enough Dreadfleet for a lifetime. Okay, as long as we make sure Azhag doesn't get too hurt, then we should be okay. Shouldn't I merge units? That probably would have been smart. I will not deny that point. Okay, let's buff your leadership. I'm gonna come over here and kill this dude. I didn't even realize I was an Arc Lector. I thought that was just a normal dude. Kill him! A little bit of friendly fire never hurt. Okay, all the archers are dealt with. We just need to cut down these swordsmen. I have to catch and kill this dude. How fast is he? He is 31. I am 36. Okay, Azhag will catch him, so I'll conserve my magic. Keep firing those AP arrows. The good news is, though, these are orc arrow boys. So even with them breaking through, I care not. I'll just charge into battle and start smashing people. But we're gonna give them a nice volley to the face as they're charging in. Come on, Azhag, you can do it! Hustle! Ah, there you go! Gotta get those old bones moving. Was Dreadfleet trash? No, Dreadfleet was fun. Dreadfleet was very fun, and the book was kind of weird. The book was a little strange because, like, when you play the game, there's all these super cool, unique ships that are like really fascinating and well written. And you're like, wow, there's like undead Skaven, and there's like a Tomb King that's super pissed off and joins with the vampires, and there's like a Chaos Dwarf Kraken ship, and all this stuff. And then when you actually read the novel, it doesn't really give any background on what's going on. Like there's the book only focuses on Count Noctilus, the good guy and the good guy characters. You don't really get any details, or very, very insignificant details, about the, like, the Tomb King or the Skaven or any of those guys. It doesn't really go into their backstory a whole lot. It is a very fun book, though. Oh, wait, this is a settlement. I don't need to chase people down. Was it a settlement? No, I'm not sure. Pretty sure it was. Have I seen the Arabian Albion mods? I'm aware of them, but I've not, like, looked at them. Wind of Death would be so good right now. I know, I need to get my hat. Or wait, no, I need to level up. I get Wind of Death by leveling up. Did Nagash ever mention Azhag when he came back? No, I wish he had, though. It would have been very cool to see, like, just a brief mention of, like, or maybe Nagash being, like, irritated about Azhag having used his hat. But Nagash's stupid crown got passed around like a blunt at a party. It got used, like, even Sigmar used it for a while. It's kind of a goofy icon. I mean, it's very scary and powerful, but it's showed up in a lot of places. I heard Dreadfleet was a beautiful game, but had horrible rules. Dreadfleet had really fun rules. The problem with it is you could only play it a few times before it didn't really have anything else to offer. And it wasn't balanced super duper well, and that it wasn't designed like, oh, only take a few ships and you're done. That way you could, like, take different combinations and stuff. It was like, no, it kind of wants you to take every ship every time. However, it doesn't want you to... Oh my gosh, we have, like, options now. It's so nice. Skulkers are going to be necessary against the Dawe. Hopefully if we just, like, spam Biggins, our Biggins will be able to go toe-to-toe with the Slayers. Should Azhag have access to some lower tier lore vampire magic to make him different to a River Troll Hag? I don't really think so. I think Azhag is great with the Lore of Death, and he gets 2 Lore of Vampire spells, but they're you don't have to pay Winds of Magic for them. You just cast them. Because when you get the Crown of Nagash, you get Gaze of Nagash, and when you get when you level him up to Dark Nimbus, you get Wind of Death for free, which is insane. Like, that's hilariously powerful. Man, the balance of power is just not interested in helping me out today. Yeah, let's go ahead and take the fight to him. If rune magic is the most precise magic with less of a chance to backfire, why don't factions like the elves use it? Because the elves have no idea how to use it. The dwarves were taught how to use rune magic by the ancestor gods, who were in turn taught how to use it by the old ones, and they have never, ever shared that secret with anyone. The dwarves, there is nothing the dwarves guard more closely than rune magic. That is to them, they would rather be completely obliterated and suffer the worst torture imaginable than reveal the secrets of rune magic. Like, not even close. Also, thank you all for being here tonight. A lot more people showed up to this than I thought. I was like, late stream, I don't think too many people. I wasn't thinking too many people would show up, but nope, y'all turned out. Alright, let's get moving, you gits. It's connected to the old ones. Does that mean the lizardmen might have had rune magic once? No, the lizardmen had the Slawn. The Slawn were so, like, hysterically overpowered when the world was young that the other forms of magic did not compare even remotely to what the Slawn wielded. The Slawn are not as strong as they used to be, mostly because magic became very corrupt when chaos, like, came screaming into existence. It fundamentally changed the way magic operated, and the elves were able to adapt much faster to this new way of magic, whereas for the Slawn, they were like, whoa, shit, like, all the rules have changed. And it was really, really difficult for them to get a handle on what was going on. The elves had a much more natural affinity and were able to, like, adjust without running into as many problems, because the elves did not rely as much on, like, purified magic. The Slawn were used to wielding the magic that the earth itself provided, and that was it. Like, they were very, very good at that. Chaos, though, introduced a lot of other factors you had to suddenly worry about. It was all very messy. Okay, Arrow Boys, let's focus those biggins. Do dwarves consider the existence of the dwarves don't really know much about the old ones. They're kind of like the elves. The dwarves know that the old ones existed. Like, they know for a fact that they existed, but they don't really understand what they were. To them, the old ones are kind of this mysterious group of entities that they know were some kind of god or divine being when the world was young, but they're long gone now. And everything about them is in ruins or dust, essentially. So, that being said, the dwarves do not have as good of an understanding as the elves do about what the old ones were. And the dwarves very strongly believe that the ancestor gods were, like, the big gods. You know, they're the only gods that matter. They're the only gods worth talking about. Obviously, it's a lot more complicated than that. But, you know, dwarves are stubborn. And they tend to only really focus on themselves unless there's something really important changing that situation. So let's get some focus on this mess. Really feels like aspects of the Dread Knight should be even. Never mind, I'm gonna shut up. Get out of here, you damn rebels. How many elves live in the Empire? Not a lot. It's pretty rare to run into elves in the Empire. Well, there is a wood elf enclave in the Empire, which are the Laralorn elves. The Laralorn elves, they were almost wiped out a really long time ago by Morgar, but 8th edition retconned the lore to basically say that not only have they survived, but they have continued to kind of wander around the world actively. So, like, there's a, according to the updated lore, there's actually, like, a wood elf base just outside of Altdorf. Not like a hidden secret, it's like a camp. But it's basically where the wood elves maintain a diplomatic presence. That way, like, the other races of Order know that they're there. And they kind of act as, like, the dignitaries for Ethel Lauren and Lara Lorn. High elves, there's a good amount of high elves that live in Altdorf, but you're like almost never gonna see a high elf outside of like a capital, acting as like agents there. I want Imbued by Madness. Give me hard to hit. Let's get your melee defense to not be absolute garbage.
Use me.
Get her.
Into motion.
Into motion.
Now we going south.
Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. I have restored my control of this area. Khazid Irkulaz is going to level up next turn. He's going north so I can give him my boss hat. I'm just going to want a lot of biggins, but I want to get inside the settlement first, so I guess let's just march inside. How does WAAAGH die in canon? The last time we see WAAAGH is at the Battle of Mindenheim. WAAAGH was there. He's at the Battle of Mindenheim because he casts like a really big spell, and then we never see him again. So presumably he got separated from Grimgor at some point, and he just fought in the city until the world blew up. How many Wood Elf enclaves are there? Difficult to determine, but most sources suggest that there's only... The only surviving enclaves of Wood Elves are Laralorn and Athel Lauren. That's it. Morgar the Gave spawn has wiped out all the others, according to most sources. Being the absolute jerk that he is. Even though I love Morgar. Morgar's a great character. Missingheim. I mean, do y'all want that to be a video this week? Do y'all just want a video that's like literally just what happens to every single character? Just like if they showed up, and if they did show up, what happened to them? But like super short, like 2 or 3 sentences. Do I think we have any chance to see a Warhammer Fantasy Battle RPG video game? That depends on what you define as a RPG video game, because technically we have one. Which is... I mean, technically... Well, I don't know. Would you count it as an RPG? If you count Diablo as an RPG, then we already have one, which is the one is the I forget what it's called. The one that came out that's like Diablo. It came out this year, and it's okay. It's not great. The voice, it's one of those games that I like the gameplay, but the voice acting is so bad it throws me off. Chaos Bane, thank you. Chaos Bane. Surprised Wood Elves don't have anything in the Southlands? I'm sure they did at one point. Do any humans live on Ulthuan? Yes, there's a lot of humans that live in the city of Lothern. But that's the only city you're allowed to be in. You're not allowed to go outside of Lothern. Talking more Skyrim. Ah, a Skyrim type scenario. I would love that. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. It might. I mean, there is so much interest in Warhammer Fantasy these days. It's kind of crazy. Oh, get on with it. Like, there is just a ton of interest in Warhammer Fantasy, which I love. I'm so glad that people have, like, learned about it and have fallen in love with it and are like, yeah, this is awesome. I want more of this. Because, A, that means that my job is secure, and B, that vastly increases our chances of getting a game like that. Dude, I just want a Gotrek and Felix game styled like The Witcher 3. I just want a Witcher 3 Gotrek and Felix game. Give it to me. Give it to me. Or make Gotrek and Felix an episodic Netflix series. One of the two. Ooh, Karak Raziak is about to get curb stomped. And I am not going to be able to do anything about it. Because I still got like a turn left on these things. Let's got a garrison. Ah, he's got a lot of tools. Okay, let's just cancel this structure then. I don't want to waste the money. Okay, I'm waiting until I get a 20 stack and then I'm going to wah. Why not both? I mean, you could do that too. ¿Por qué no los dos? Alright, chill, dude. Yeah, let's actually pick up the Moon Howlers. I do want a Wolf Rider unit. Okay, so Kaze Nirkulaz actually managed to get walls before Gotrek showed up. Or Grim, whatever. Ungrim, so that's kind of amazing. Do Beastmen worship Morgur? Yeah. They sort of. Beastmen acknowledge Morgur as like a god-like entity. So to them, he is, you can kind of think of him as like an avatar of chaos. So they don't worship him as a god, but they worship him as like the next best thing. Fan cast for Gotrek and Felix? Dude, I do not know enough about actors for that. I am so bad with actors. Whenever someone is like, hey, who's your favorite actor? I have to tell them a character that was played, not like an actual person's name, because I don't know their actual name. Okay, I'm gonna let him kind of come to me. Wow, this terrain is awful. Why am I defending, yet I have like this garbage terrain here? Maybe let's like run back this way, like force him to kind of engage us at an angle. Oh yeah, that's not gonna work. We are about to. Oh god, yeah! Just turn and fight. Just turn and fight. We're about to take so much free damage. Error boys, focus the slayers. God, I love Wolf Riders. Oh no, that's this unit. Whoops, sorry guys. Fall back. I'll tell you what, if there's another thing I really hope we get for Game 3, I really want weather effects. I want weather effects on battles so bad. Like, oh, hey, you're fighting in the rain, your gunpowder's going to be less effective. Or, oh, hey, you're fighting in the snow, then, you know, you're going to get higher you're gonna get higher fatigue easier. Like, I want that so bad. Because it would be like, it could add in some really cool dynamics. Like, oh, you're playing Norska? Then you don't suffer from snow effects. Or you're playing dwarves, then you get to ignore snow effects. Or, oh, you're in the desert, then you get, you know, maybe in the desert you you fatigue faster. But like, it would be nice to see, like, if you have that environment listed as one of the ones where you're like, oh, I'm pretty immune to this. Like the downsides to this, then you would ignore the downsides in the battle, which I think would be so nice. Are there any actual gold shield units in the AI? Or in the UI? There are gold shield units, but you have to use upgrades to get them. So like, if you take Orc Boys here, there's a scrap upgrade for Orc Boys that gives them better shields. And if you take that upgrade, it'll give your Orc Boys gold tier shields, which is awesome. I mean, we're definitely gonna lose this fight, but we're gonna at least take like a bunch of dwarves with us. I'm not going alone into that good night. Stop shooting me, asshole. It's time to war! Chugga chugga chugga. More DACA! More DACA! Yeah, I mean, we're taking a beating here, but I mean, we're gonna take a lot of these guys with us, which will make Azhag's job super easy because Azhag's gonna have like a bunch of big uns next turn. Wish the Lizardmen got represented in more games, dude. I wish the Lizardmen got more represented in more books. The Lizardmen only show up in 2 Warhammer Fantasy novels in the entire setting, like over 30 years of lore, and they showed up twice. And one of the times they showed up, it was they were completely misrepresented. It was horrible how badly that book was written. They wrote the Lizardmen as like wild, savage creatures that like eat man flesh, and they were more like beastmen that just aren't as cruel or evil, but they were like very cruel. And I was like, who wrote this piece of garbage? And why are my Lizardmen like ridiculously over the top villains? And the other time was in a Thankful book, and it will always crack me up that the most accurate, faithful portrayal of the Lizardmen was in a frickin' Thankful book. Alright, that's the end of that. Favorite scrap upgrade? My favorite scrap upgrade is probably stone armor for giants. Getting tanky giants makes me happy. VR4K3, thanks so much for the tip, my dude. What do you think the best way for someone unfamiliar with the Warhammer Fantasy, interested in Warhammer Fantasy, to get started? Best way to get started, my dude, is pick up Gotrek and Felix. If you know nothing, anything at all about Warhammer Fantasy, and you're like, this looks cool, but I don't understand what the hell's going on. I don't know who these people are. I don't understand like the rules of this world. Gotrek and Felix is the optimal starting point for anybody new to the setting, because it will introduce you to a lot of different races and factions, like pretty evenly. It doesn't just focus on one or the other. Like, you get a look at a bunch of really cool, interesting different races. You also get a look at a bunch of other. You get a look of like a ton of crazy monsters and nightmarish denizens and all sorts of really, really cool things. And most, if not all of them, are really well written, and they're just a ton of fun. Where's that orc boss that I hate? There he is. You're in charge here until Ungrim goes away. Whoop, forgot about him. What books were the Lizardmen in? The Lizardmen The really shitty one is called The Burning Shore. The Burning Shore I despise. I would never recommend anybody read it. Like Burning Shore, you can totally skip because the lizardmen in it are trash. But the good one is the Thanquol trilogy. Thanquol has a trilogy of books, which if you're not familiar with Thanquol as a character, he's a very, very silly but fun Skaven character who has like epic tier shenanigans. There's no better way to describe him. Okay, let's close in Ungrim here and just kick his ass. We have you surrounded, Slayer King. Damn it. Of course he ran away. Coward. I could try and... Oh, nice. Okay, we got Gobbo Crackdown. That's actually really good for orcs. Yeah, that bonus for damage on orcs makes me happy. These are all Gobbo upgrades. I need more money, so let's do Pulling Teeth. Okay, let's do this. I want you to move here. I want you to kill this. Trickster Shard. Ooh, nice. You go back in here. Hold off Ungrim for a bit. I'm going to go over here and murder all these dudes. Man, it just does not want to let me level up to rank 12, does it? And I could recruit, but he's going to cut me off. Because he's probably going to attack this, and then I can run up and slap him in the face. Kind of want to get my shaman down here so I can see what's going on. I need eyes. Let's see. What books do you think the Lizardmen should have? The Lizardmen should get a book that follows... I would really like the Lizardmen to have had a trilogy of novels that follow the invasion of Vashnar the Tormentor. And it, like, builds up to the final siege of Hexawatl, which was a crazy fight. Because that was, like, the biggest chaos invasion the Lizardmen had seen in hundreds, if not thousands of years. No, it was thousands of years. Like, they hadn't seen anything like that since, like, the Great Incursion. It was, just a massive invasion. And it was super well written in the army book and had like a lot of crazy back and forth, and there was a bunch of all sorts of goofy stuff. I am the hungry one, just I'm reading two chats at once, so give me a break. I'm trying to be both places here. But yeah, that would be my pick, is that the siege. Man, like, I know I don't have, like, a crazy good army, but the balance of power is a little ridiculous in some of these. I kind of want to deal with Ungrim first. Okay, let's do this. Let's run over to fight Ungrim. He's probably going to run away, so then we will ambush stance and deal with him from there. And we've got our shaman coming over, so I'll be able to, like, see what's actually going on. Hopefully this rebel might cut off Ungrim from retreating. Hey, that's a weird spot for him to go. Yeah, definitely cut him off. Okay, he's laying siege. That's fine. Good morning from Sweden. Well, good evening from Texas, my dude. Okay, first things first. Deal with this dude. Nice. Does that give me level 12? Yes! We can start getting the good stuff, finally. Imbued by madness and earth-shaking orders. Oh, yes. Okay, then what I want to do is I want to move to right here. And I want to ambush to try and lure in Ungrim.
Nope.
If we can get Ungrim to come to us, then we can catch and kill him, and then I can go mop this up, take WAAAGH, and then we can start marching against Katakadrin again. Is Sneak better than Snitch at killing? No. Sneak is good at something, is like believed to be very scary, but a lot of Lord Sneak's power comes from manipulation and mystery, as opposed to a lot of the Council of 13 come off as very powerful, scary individuals, but it is incredibly unclear what it is they can actually do. And I would propose that for most of them, while they are powerful enough to be dangerous if you were to fight them, I do genuinely believe that they are not nearly as dangerous as they advertise themselves to be. I think it's mostly an act.
Now's the time. I'm off.
Why'd this goofball come over here? Get out of here. Yay! Okay. We just killed a lot. Oh, the other Trickster Shard. No, that's going on Azhag. That's going on Azhag. Oh, that's such a good item for right now. Ah, dang it. I'm going to have to replace that with my hat, I think. But that, yeah, that's... Or maybe not. I think the hat's an enchanted item. Bellower and Route Marcher for the moment. You just stay there and keep an eye on things. Let's combine a bunch of these. And I'm going to wander over to about here and ambush so he doesn't see me coming. See if we can wound and get rid of that captain. Damn it. Oh yeah, you're right. I do have both shards. I have the Trickster Shard and the other Trickster Shard. It's funny. And then we'll get Azhag to a 20 stack and call a WAAAGH. Court of Libera should have access to Gotrek and Felix. I agree. That would be fitting. Is GW still creating fantasy lore, or is it more or less done? Games Workshop is not creating any fantasy lore right now. They are working on bringing back Warhammer Fantasy. They've already confirmed that, and they've already released some of the stuff they're working on. So presumably they're going to be revisiting the lore, but we don't have a lot of details on that. Like, we don't know if the goal is to completely start over. We don't know if the goal is to... we don't know if they're completely starting over. We don't know if they're going to be, like, dropping back at some point in the timeline that we already know and just, like, moving forward with the storyline. We don't know if everything that was prior established is going to be completely canonical or if they're going to, like, go a different direction with it. We don't know if it's going to be an alternate timeline. Like, there's so many unknowns. Like, we just have no idea. Yeah. that's where we're at right now. We really don't know what Games Workshop is up to on that front. Hopefully they're up to something good and not bad, but we're not going to have any answers for a while. I mean, Games Workshop has been very cagey about Warhammer the Old World. And they need to be cagey about it, in my opinion. Because everyone is super nervous about it, myself included. I am very, very nervous about Warhammer the Old World. Because I just don't have a lot of faith in Games Workshop right now when it comes to Warhammer Fantasy. And I'm really scared that they're going to be trying to milk the fantasy IP as opposed to actually trying to bring it back. If that makes sense. Like, I'm worried they're going for a cash grab, not for a faithful revival of the setting. But there's no way to know. You know, we literally, all we can do is wait and see. Which I hate. Like, I hate that we don't know what's going on. I want to know what's going on. I want Games Workshop to be able to just tell us, here's the situation. That way we can start making plans. But they're not going to do that for a good while. Stoic Nomad on Twitch says, "Why no faith? It's not like they already tried to, it's not like they already destroyed the setting or something. It's not like they had a golden goose and completely shot it in the back of the head. They wouldn't do anything silly like that." Alright, Error Boys, let's start pin cushioning all these Outriders. Alright, so we've got Mogur's Mangy Marauders doing some sexy armor-piercing AP, or armor-piercing range damage on the Empire Knights. Hustle! Come on! Hustle! A little pep in your step, my dudes. So the fun begins. Oh, look out! Oh, rude. Oh, wait, they didn't blow up. Go blow up on those greatswords. I can click. They might need to double check the balance of power for Azhag, because like looking at a lot of these fights, this isn't even remotely close. I feel very confident that AI could fight this and win, but the balance of power was like, oh man, you're fucked. So I wonder if that's having a negative impact on Azhag as a campaign entity. I mean, he seems to do okay in Mortal Empire campaigns right now, but, you know, it never hurts to double check that kind of stuff. Goodbye. The thing about Warhammer Fantasy that is super complicated, in my opinion, is that they didn't need to kill the setting. Killing the setting was the most unnecessary piece of garbage that Games Workshop has ever done. They needed to revamp it. They needed to introduce a new game system to refresh the way the game was played, to bring out a new model line, but they didn't need to kill the setting. Killing the setting it didn't make any sense. It was the most bizarre handling of the situation, and it was planned pretty prematurely, in my opinion. Like, Fantasy was having a hard time selling because it was just being Games Workshop was being so significantly outcompeted, because they just weren't supporting it well enough. You know, you have Games Workshop basically in a situation where, here's the thing. One of the things that I probably am going to have to talk about when it comes to Warhammer the Old World is that Games Workshop has a really unique problem. In that Games Workshop is a company that... what's the best way to say this? Games Workshop is a very unique company in that they have multiple settings, right, that they're trying to sell at the same time. But these settings compete with one another. So 40K competes with Fantasy, competes with Age of Sigmar. That's unavoidable. It's not that Games Workshop is trying to do that. It's more of the fact that the game is so freaking expensive that you just can't play it without racking up like pretty serious amounts of monies. And even going back to when Fantasy was around, 8th edition versus 40K, basically I think what ultimately happened is Games Workshop has a limited amount of resources, a limited amount of writers, a limited amount of, model makers, yada, 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 yada. And the thing about it is that Games Workshop showed up to the table and they got into this really weird situation where all they were doing was just Space Marines. Space Marines, Space Marines, Space Marines. Like, if you go look at the end of Fantasy, the amount of support Fantasy was receiving compared to the amount of support 40K was receiving is, like, insane. It's not even competitive. And all of the stuff that was being released for Fantasy was really weirdly handled because they weren't releasing new kits for a lot of the, like, really awesome units. They were focusing on, like, these super expensive big models, or they were focusing on, like, these colossal horde-style units. So Games Workshop pulled out a gun, shot themselves in the leg, like, 5 times. They were like, okay, you need literally 400 Skaven models to play Skaven accurately. Pow! Okay, we're changing the rules so that these new colossal monster units we're putting in the game are so strong a lot of the time that they're kind of overpowered, and if you don't run them, you're probably going to have a bad time. Pow! Okay, we're introducing a lot of, like, new character types who are always going to be better than the last character types, so you better get them. Pow! And they kept making the game more expensive, more expensive, more expensive, more expensive, while also simultaneously not supporting it. Like, Forge World had been supporting 40K for a long time. You know, with the Horus Heresy and, like, all the stuff they've done there, all the Titans and the Tyranids and all this crazy stuff. And then along comes... Forge World was involved in Fantasy for 1 edition, and it was like half an edition. They released the Storm of Magic. No, they did not release the Storm of Magic. They released the Monstrous Arcanum, which was book 1 of a series they were about to release. And then they released Tarmacon, and that was it. And then the setting died. So, like, Fantasy just wasn't given a chance to start to breathe. Like, it was a setting that needed to get off the ground, actually have some breathing room, and be given a chance to, like, perform under, like, a new direction. You know, start looking at the game from the ground up. What can we do to make the game easier to play? How can we make it cheaper for new players? How can we introduce, like, a playable skirmish mode? How can we introduce campaigns that are gonna, like, really ramp up support? And then what they ended up doing is they came out and they were like, oh, hey, here's the end times. And the end times sold like fucking hotcakes. Like, the end times made so much money, it was insane. Like, when the end times book came out, they were printing thousands of copies of the end time novels. So, like, the big books, like Thankwell, Kane, and all that stuff. But these big books were sold out. When I was in college when the end times came out, and every time a new book was going to come out, I would literally have to go get on my PC the day before, order a pizza, and I would have to sit there and be like, okay, here we go. Like, I would be refresh, because the only way to buy one of those books was to, like, sell your soul to staying up the entire night, because they were so... The setting was finally moving forward. Fantasy was finally advancing. They were finally selling new models. They were finally, like, introducing, like, characters that people loved and were really interested in seeing. They were supporting the game for the first time in, like, years. And it turned out to be the death of the game at the same time. And it was just like, fucking Christ, dude. And, I mean, let's be real. We all know the real reason Warhammer Fantasy died is because they wanted Space Marines in Fantasy. That is the only reason they had to kill off the setting. They wanted Space Marines in Fantasy, and, well, they also wanted to copyright everything so it'd be harder to copy their models. Which, by the way, did not work. Third-party vendors are still hilariously cramping in on Games Workshop style and making their life hysterically hard. Like, despite the fact that they've gone so out of their way to name all of their races like new stupid names like Dwarven and elves with an A, and like got rid of the Tomb Kings because they were too Egyptian, and like all this stuff didn't even work. Like, you can still go out and buy all of those model ranges. Oh, Azhag is totally gonna die. Azhag, just run! Run away! Just break! Break! Don't die! Okay, good. It's okay, we killed all the greatswords. Sorry, I didn't mean to get into a huge rant there. Carol Haas, thanks for the tip. At least Age of Sigmar is great. I mean, Age of Sigmar is... I like Age of Sigmar. I don't mind Age of Sigmar. It's fine. I am glad that fantasy is coming back because they're just not the same. Like, Age of Sigmar was... I will say, I really wish... Oh, Skull Muncher! And Insane Visions. I really wish that Age of Sigmar was a completely new setting. Not Fantasy Plus. One of the things that I think made me the most irritated with it, as a setting, was that it really felt like they made something that was kind of half-baked and at the beginning really poorly designed, and they just slapped the fantasy name on it to trick people into buying it. Because I felt tricked. I mean, I'll be honest. When I started getting into Age of Sigmar and I bought like the first few Realm War books and started trying to keep up, it was like, this is fucking garbage. Like, this is terrible. Now it's a lot better. But you know why Age of Sigmar got better? Because it stopped being Age of Sigmar and it started being fantasy. They stopped making it a beer and pretzels game. They made it more competitive. They brought in the magic system. They brought in like the magic lores from fantasy. They brought in the gameplay styles from fantasy. They added more complicated rules. And now Age of Sigmar is like borderline more expensive and more difficult to get into for like new players than fantasy was, which is stupid because that was the whole reason they said we apparently got rid of fantasy in the first place. But like, it's such an expensive game. Age of Sigmar is getting ludicrously expensive, which sucks. I hate that because the whole point of AOS was that it was supposed to be cheap, and it's not cheap anymore. It's really getting hard to. It's really hard to like convince people to get into it right now, especially with like all the constant price increases that they're starting to do. And I don't understand what they're doing. It's so strange. Do I know any alternate Tomb King range? I vaguely do. I'll always hate Age of Sigmar because it killed fantasy. No, it didn't. Age of Sigmar did not kill fantasy. That's a myth that needs to be like put down, because all it does is like make Age of Sigmar out to be the bad guy in something that wasn't AOS's fault. Like, listen, like, I totally get not liking AOS, but don't blame AOS for the death of fantasy. That had nothing to do with Age of Sigmar. That was completely up, like, games... They were going to get rid of the setting regardless. Games Workshop was just at a point where they didn't have ideas. It's not... I won't say they ran out of ideas. I'll say that they just didn't have any ideas. Because there were plenty of ways they could have saved fantasy. But they just didn't want to do it. They didn't want to invest in it. Anonymous... Oh, Anonymous, thanks so much for the tip, my dude. Here, have some dopamine. Oh, it's going straight in my veins. It's going straight through that blood-brain barrier. Thanks for the tip, my dude. Really appreciate it. Anyway, sorry, I'm going to stop talking about that now. I'm just like... just like vomiting words off on my screen right now. Daddy needs more biggins. Oh my god, I'm so close to pushing these frickin' dwarves out of my house! Man, I really wish Azhag had a skill that made biggins one turn cheaper to faster recruit. How old can Skaven live to be? most Skaven will die of old age at around 7 to 8 years old. It is rare for Skaven to make it to double digits. What do I think of the Seraphon? First edition Seraphon, I kind of hated. Second edition Seraphon are really cool. Lore-wise, they're very cool. Rules-wise, they're alright. Games Workshop didn't really give them a lot of great tools to work with. They gave them like 1 or 2 cool gimmicks, but their gimmicks are not worth the price of entry, so to speak. Do you feel the power, chat? Two-turn recruitment is horrible for non-monsters. I don't mind it for, like, super elite units, like Black Orcs, Ironbreakers, Hammers. Like, that makes sense. But Biggins? Come on. Biggins really should be a one-turn unit. Elf Cow. I like the Elf Cows. Like, I'm not going to collect Lumineth, but I do like the direction Lumineth are going. I like that they're like, look, it's High Elves with something a little new. Like, I thought that's kind of a cool looking range. Now, I totally understand people that think it looks like hot garbage. But, for me personally, I think it looks pretty neat. Alright, let's actually upgrade our Biggins with some scrap. To make them just cut through... Oh, you know what? I think instead of going for damage against Slayers, maybe we should go armor. Because Slayers just don't have AP. So maybe if I go scrap armor on my Biggins, they'll actually be able to handle the frickin' Slayer spam that Ungrim's throwing at us. Like there's no tomorrow, and he'll choke to death if he doesn't eat more Slayers. Fez Waller, thanks so much for the tip, my dude. Do you ever play Warcry? If so, do you like it? Warcry. Warcry. I have played Warcry. I think it is a fun game. However, Warcry, in my opinion, is very... how do I say this? Warcry, there is no such thing as customization in Warcry. Like, you can decide that, oh, okay, I'm gonna have these units in my thing. But you don't really get to customize your units. Like, you can't give them special abilities. You can't have, like, multiple leaders. You can't, like, take magic. There's not a lot, there's no counterplay with the dice. It's more of, like, I just do things, and my opponent just has to deal with me doing. The model range for Warcry is amazing. Like, the Warcry models, oh, they're so good. I fucking love Warcry models. But, I don't know, the game to me feels like Mordheim without the soul. Like, it has a lot of the rules of Mordheim. I love the verticality. I love the, like, the crazy scenario rules. I love, like, how you can, like, determine your warband size by buying units and stuff. But I feel like they didn't go as far with it as I needed them to for me to really enjoy the game. It kind of falls flat, in my opinion. Not because it's bad, but just because, I don't know, it just feels like they AOS'd it, you know, for lack of a better term. They made it too simple. It's too much of a beer and pretzels game. It requires too little thought. In my opinion. I really need that game to be more complicated. Like, the campaigns don't really work, in my opinion, because you can't really, like, you have to, like, pick a player and be like, okay, we're gonna play through your campaign or something. But, like, you don't really get cool upgrades or magic items or, like, I don't know. I just feel like there's not a lot of substance there. Okay, I guess I'll give... I kind of want my orc boys to have wizardly weapons for that sweet, sweet AP bonus. Alright, let's go get my hat, chat. Daddy needs his hat. Gork or Mork? I am more of a Mork person than a Gork person. I love Mork. Plus, I feel like Mork doesn't get as much love. I wouldn't hold your hopes that they're going to revive... Oh, hold on. Well, no, it's whatever. You can hear the speech.
All right, lads. Here's the plan.
They're just going to go back to bring more fantasy
We're
stuff.
going into
Anyway,
this
it's more
lost city,
fantasy.
but before we can
Odd
leverage
one,
and
odd one
clear
out. I don't know if you've heard this, but they're bringing back fantasy. Like it's already happening. It's already happened. It's already locked in.
This is my plan, so I get the top picks. I'm in charge now, and I need a shiny boss hat. Anyone who disobeys will get a boot up their backside.
How come Azhag could resist the crown even when Sigmar couldn't? Azhag can resist the crown very rarely. And Sigmar was able to resist the crown fairly often. It's just that it gets to you. You know, Azhag, I would say Sigmar resisted the crown a little better than Azhag on average, because Sigmar was more of the crown changed the way he acted, but it wasn't that he was Nagash. With Azhag, when Azhag would lose control of himself to the crown every once in a while, he was no longer Azhag. He was just Nagash. Or like that fragment of Nagash. Like there was nothing of Azhag in there. So that being said, Azhag was a lot more belligerent and stubborn when he did come out, to like a comical extent. And having all Vanguard with orcs is just, mwah, I love it. Odd one out, we don't know yet. We do not know what the extent of the situation is. The only thing they've confirmed for sure is that they've showed off a bunch of Kislev stuff. So like we know Kislev will be a playable faction. We've seen the Bear Cav, and we've seen the Royal Kislevite Ice Guard, who look amazing, by the way. Like I am so down for those models. Freaking bats. And that Vargolf really just like pops out on your butt, doesn't he? Chop them up, lads! That Gromget says these bats taste good. Chop them up. They actually fixed this quest battle. This quest battle used to be a lot more, not buggy, but like it took a lot more time for everything to come out. Like the undead took like a really long time to start spawning, whereas now they come out almost instantly, which is a lot more thrilling in my opinion. I hate this Chaos dude because he has a potion of healing right at the start, so he's like really tenacious. I'm gonna go eat that Necromancer. Up, up, up. Or I could just crawl there, that's fine. Whatever, I'm not gonna sweat it. To me! Well, odd one out. So the only things we know for certain are that A, it's called Warhammer: The Old World, and they have, when they initially announced it, they showed a lot of Tomb King stuff revolving around Cetra, because they seem to be heavily insinuating that Cetra the Imperishable would be returning. We also know that it's not a retcon. So it's not that AOS is not going to have happened. It's still going to be under the assumption that the end times does happen and the world blows up and Age of Sigmar eventually comes to pass. But it seems that it will heavily revolve around... we know that Forge World is very heavily involved. And it seems that with the Horus Heresy wrapping up, because the Horus Heresy is basically over, right? Like the last few books are coming out, and most of the model range is out, and it really seems like that. I don't know how long the Horus Heresy has been going on. It feels like it's been going on for eternity, but that like era of 40K is over. And it seems that instead of having the Forge World team like just pick up to a new timeline during 40K, they're instead moving them over to completely resurrecting Warhammer Fantasy. But yeah, we don't know, and that's why to say that I am cautiously optimistic is completely wrong. I am terrifyingly pessimistic about it. Did I see the thing that Arch did to the Ice Guard? No, and I don't care. I could not give less fucks about Arch Warhammer. Behold my field of fucks and see that they are barren. I don't care. Yeah, so yeah, we know that Forge World is heavily involved. We don't know if it's going to be like Forge World exclusive models, or if it's just that the Forge World team is like going to be printing the books, but Games Workshop's going to be printing the models. Like we don't know. We don't know a lot. It's all up in the air and very mysterious and spooky. Ooh, Darkest Nimbus. Yeah, we got Wind of Death, chat. Oh, I leveled up twice. Ooh, don't mind if I do. Oh wait, I have to wait till next turn though, because I can't get any of the super death spells until I actually put on my hat. Which it takes me a whole turn to do that. Takes a long time to go. Frog Guy, thanks so much for the tip, my dude. Sotek, it rained today, so I caught a frog after work. Are there any frog-like creatures in Warhammer except for the Slann? To my memory, the only true frog-like... There are two frog-like creatures. There are the Slann, which are more of like the... Which are more like exotic Amazonian... or South American frogs, you know, jungle frogs. And then there are the toad dragons. The toad dragons I would technically classify as frog-like, because they are literally giant primordial toads. Except for they are horrific monsters that are usually ridden by champions of Nurgle, and they are colossal and terrifying, and they have a prehensile tongue that they can shoot out, and it's got sticky barbs that impale you and start dissolving you as it pulls you back into its mouth to devour you, and it's horrifying and disgusting. And their mouths open up like predator mouths, except for they have like 3 things instead of 4. So they like open up and a tongue shoots out and like impales a part of you, and then it ropes you in and eats you. And they have like, they're so big and heavy that they can like crush other monsters. Yeah, Tarmacon rode one. Oh yeah, Ripperdactyl frogs too. Yeah, there's a type of frog called a bloat toad. And a bloat toad is a type of frog that Ripperdactyls hate. So what the skinks will do to make the Ripperdactyls a lot scarier is they will hide bloat toads among the enemy units, so that when the Ripperdactyls get close, they'll like smell the bloat toad on the enemy and they'll go into a horrible frenzy and like eat everybody. It's great. The only thing that annoys me is that bloat toad rage is supposed to be something that all of them have access to, but Creative Assembly made it where only the Regiment of Renown has access to it, which I thought was kind of dumb. But CA hates me sometimes, I feel like, so who cares? Okay, let's get a couple of Night Goblins in this army, like the Regiments of Renown. So give me the Rusty Errors. They can be my Red Eye Mountain representatives. Oh yeah, I need to change that. Red Mountain. And then, I guess I could drop a Biggin unit. Man, I wish when you combined units, I could tell it, move this unit into this unit. Because I don't want to get rid of this unit because they have a scrap upgrade. Could just... Yeah, get rid of a regular orc unit. And give me... Oh, wait, no, I don't have the AP Gloonies yet. No! Okay, whatever. I'll just buy a new orc unit. Because I don't want those regular gobos. They're dumb. I don't like them. Frog Guy, thanks for another tip, my dude. Thanks for the frog advice. Can we get a take on how Rob Skarsnik got in the final battle of Eight Peaks? Dude. Yeah, it started off really well. Like, they handled the final the battle in the Vale pretty well. Like, it was like, okay, like, Skarsnik's pulling off a lot of cool tricks, all this crazy stuff's happening, and then just copious amounts of bullshit happened. Like, you had Gobla eat somebody, and then he gets killed from the inside, which that made no sense. Like, I don't, like, if I remember right, he was, like, at least a Clan Molder guy, so they were like, oh, he's Clan Molder, so he's got, like, resistances to monster juices and stuff. But it was a pretty weak excuse for, like, especially for how long he was inside Gobla. But, yeah, we didn't even get to see what happened to Skarsnik. That's what bugs me the most, is that we didn't get to see what happened to him in the end. Like, I would not have been as angry if, like, Skarsnik died or went out fighting or something. But no, he gets super depressed, which I can't blame him. I love Gobla. And Gobla getting killed was a travesty. But they're like, oh, Gobla's dead, so now Skarsnik gets to do absolutely nothing and he doesn't matter anymore. And I was like, how dare you? How dare you? Single player and multiplayer are balanced separately? I don't believe so. Based on what I know. I can tell you for a fact that they use one balance, which everything is balanced the same. There are no differences between performance in single player and multiplayer, outside of like tech tree stuff. What legendary Lord of the Orcs am I playing? We're playing Azhag, and we just got Skull Muncha and the Crown of Nagash, so life is good. Now we're chasing around Ungrim and slapping him. Why do you think Games Workshop didn't do more with Krakenrock the Black in Fantasy? Because they forgot about him. That's why. Have you ever seen, have y'all ever watched, like, the meme YouTube videos about the last season of Game of Thrones? Where, like, everyone's like, so what happened to this one thing? And what are they called? D&D? The writers are like, oh, we forgot. Or, like, why did so-and-so, I forget what her name is, Daenerys, why did Daenerys fly her dragons over the fleet? Like, wouldn't she obviously have seen the Iron Fleet that has, like, anti-dragon stuff? Oh, she forgot. Like that's their answer to every single question. Whenever I see that, I'm just like, that's literally the end times. Like, if you're ever sitting there asking yourself, like, man, how did the end times turn out the way that it did? Just go watch what happened to Game of Thrones. Boom. Story. End of done. Like, yeah, I tweeted that earlier today. I never watched Game of Thrones. Like, I read the books, but I didn't watch the show. Because I didn't want to pay for HBO because I'm cheap. But, so, and I'm, like, not big on TV. So, like, I never watched Game of Thrones, so I missed out on everyone being like, this is the end of the earth, because of how horribly that show ended. But I sympathize with anyone, because I lived through that with the end times. Except for I had to pay a lot more money. Because each of those books cost like $100. Oh, Ungrim, you are in for a bad time, my dude. Because Because I'm just going to run up and smash all these. I've got all this sweet, sweet Vanguard action. And I've got armor-piercing orcs. I should probably deploy, like, a lot wider, just in case he's, like, not... He's bunched up in the corner. Use our immense length, girth, to our advantage. Forward! Okay, I'm really hoping that my biggins and orc boys are going to be able to hold their own against the slayers this time and not just get, like, absolutely crumped. But if I get all of my guys engaged, like, okay, that's going to have to stop right now. If I get all of my guys engaged, like, really quickly, then we will be able to WAAAGH very quickly. Ooh, this will be nice. Yeah, you're gonna need to stop that, like, right now. Okay, let's go for a nice big one of these. Come back! Ooh, I can do this now. Probably shouldn't. I was like, I'm gonna purple sun! It's like, wait, use your brain. Let's use a Wind of Death right there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, beautiful! Oh my god, these slayers hurt really bad. Azhag, you have, like, no armor. Let's go. We're leaving. Okay, I'm losing this little scuffle, so let's go ahead and purple sun. Yes. Yes. These aren't slayers, right? Okay, yeah, so I can dive down into this mess. All archers, focus Ungrim. He's just gonna run around the backfield like a doofus. Okay, we're coming out on top on that flank, so that's really nice. I'm gonna fly over here and start spirit bombing this nerd. Good job, lads! Yeah, get this bolt thrower offline, or maybe these archers. Oh boy. Get out of there. Let's try and keep their melee stuff low. Okay, slayers. Kill him! More Daka! More Daka! Okay, you guys are done. Let's get you over here. Let's gaze into Gash. Fly down here. Looks like we've got this under control. Pretty sure. Because there's not a lot of slayers left. And Ungrim's also super low. Yeah, like, yeah, Game of Thrones was indeed a travesty. It's like one of the most spectacular failures of the modern age when it comes to, like, media. Like, it's genuinely impressive. Like how bad they messed that up. That always brings me comfort when I'm having, like, a hard day. It's like I'm not the only fan of a fantasy series that had, like, their everything stripped away from them. Okay, let's start killing slayers off my dudes. Rest in pepperonis. That should kill him. Maybe? Oh my god, that did like no damage. I'll have to fly Azhag over there. Ooh! These Slayer armies hurt. Wow, that only did like 100 damage. That was not a good burst of that. Does he have like daring death blow? No, he has determined. Please die? Oh no, he's got 15 health left. I'm not wasting a cast on that. Okay, there we go. Focus the Slayers! Nothing else matters. Come here, Thane. There's another group of Slayers that's low on health. Kaboom! I love like the Nazgul screams that the Wyverns have. Ragnaroks are basically fantasy squiggets. Yeah. Wait till you see a colossal squig though, my dude. Colossal squigs are great. Okay, last batch of Slayers is over here. Alright. A nice, solid victory for Azhag. Turn around and gaze these dudes. Pew! Eh, I got him! Okay, looks like that's... Is that all of them? Alright. Just gotta fly down and kill this one. Hold your fire, I got this. I don't want you doofuses accidentally shooting me. Oh, nope, never mind, you got it. Good job! Good job! Should Squiggets be in Warhammer Fantasy? No, no, we have other stuff. There are tons of colossal greenskin monsters. You know, you've got Arachnaroks, you've got Colossal Squigs, you've got Idols of Gork. There's even more if they really wanted to stretch the pale there. Yeah. Alfie, thanks for coming by. Have a good night. Good lord, it is 2 a.m. And I have to be up at 9 for an inspector coming through the house. So that was super fun. We got Blood Reveler. That's awesome. Azhag's getting all those bonus hit points. But we're doing good. We are doing good. We are pushing back these foul Dawi. Ooh, Helm of Discord. One step, brutal step at a time. So we'll go ahead and grab Nashrak's lair here. And I think that will be the end of today's episode. So thanks everyone so much for joining me today. I hope you all had fun. Arcane Conduit, please. We will definitely be... Let's get Dodgy Geezer. I'm tired of getting shot. We'll definitely be back with this AP Loonies. Probably tomorrow at a much earlier time. I think. I don't know. We might... Part of me wants to keep this as like a late night thing. But also part of me is like, I really want to get this achievement. So, I don't know. We'll play it by ear. Like I said, I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. This was a lot of fun. But I do have to be up early tomorrow. Because I'm not allowed to sleep through the guy being here. Because he's going to want to inspect the entire house. Because we're trying to get the house refinanced. So that we can do a whole bunch of shenanigans and it's all grown-up shit that I hate, but whatever, it's life. Of course, the dwarves already own all the garbage I'm going to want to take, but it's okay. Big shout out and thank you to everyone who tipped this evening. I really, really appreciate it. Thanks to everyone who subbed on Twitch or membered on YouTube. As well, I appreciate the support. I'm going to go find out where my dog is. Because, oh, I see her. She's sleeping in my closet. So I'm going to go, the dog's, she's like, come to bed. So I'm going to go get Chloe and go to bed. Hope you all have a great day. Thanks again for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you tomorrow. Ooh, yeah, okay, there's definitely not going to be an Ogre Kingdom Q&A video until late tomorrow. I'm just realizing, I was like, I haven't recorded that yet, and 7 a.m. is in like 5 hours, so I guess I'll do that at another time tomorrow. Alright, see you guys. Bye.